Welcome to Nexus Edge, the show that'll help you get an edge on your competition. I'm, of course, your esteemed host, Turd Herder, and we're coming to you live for some Season 9 of NGS Week 1 recap. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I do apologize for my own video quality. I'm streaming to you from my laptop as opposed to my normal thing, so bear with me. But Rio, how are you doing, man?
Good. Billy Sharks, we had a match last week versus Insomnia. We ended up losing 2-1, but we're ready to get geared up, starting the season, getting some more wins. Hopefully.
Hey, and that's what it's all about. We have Nexus Cats have been doing some things. We did a 2-1 stint against Probius' sister team. Real tough competition, so real happy where we're at, and we're looking forward to some Div D competition this season. It's kind of close down there, as a little bit of foreshadowing for what we're going to talk about a little bit later today. But yeah, I think with that, I don't have anything else to talk about. You want to move on to our first segment? Let us do it. All right. First segment is, of course, we're going to do a week 1 rather, recap. So let's get right into it, starting with Heroic, and we'll move our way down. So why don't you start us off, Rio?
Sure. So, Heroic, I think the current standings will be up on the stream and whatnot.
Yep.
Quick team to talk about here. Washed Up has 2 series wins already against Give Us 20 and Dread Pirates. And those are two teams that were in sort of the bottom half of the preseason predictions that I think DB Smiley and maybe some other people had put out there, Key possibly also. And so that's currently a big question, I think, of a team that's maybe looking to challenge some of these top teams that we don't really know how well they'll do. I have a couple teammates on that team, so past teammates, I should say. And yeah, I'm excited to see if they can keep getting those wins and stay near the top of the division.
Very nice. Yeah, I don't really have too much more to add on this one. I do Quarantine. If anyone here is listening, you guys got to get a logo. You gotta. I mean, that's the rules.
Anyone
right?
without a logo needs a logo.
Exactly.
We're calling all of you out.
Yeah. Let's move into it. You're in A East, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, why don't you do A East and I'll take care of A West.
Sure. So East, couple teams to look out for here: Team Happy Cloud and Beast Coast. Both of these teams were in like the preseason prediction stuff again, middle of the pack. But both of them had a pretty strong showing in the first week. So Team Happy Cloud beat Party Time 2-0, and Beast Coast beat Regen Phoenix. So both of these teams are maybe towards the topper end of the division. I know Team Happy Cloud, I think we'll talk about them more later even, but they've been in Div A, I think the past like 3 seasons or something, and they've been slowly moving their way up. So, in the past they were like maybe barely a playoff inching in team, and then last season they were probably like middle upper of the pack in playoffs. So this season, if they keep that trend, they might be one of the top teams to beat. So definitely keep a lookout for both of those.
And I do want to shout out Slexia. Thank you for the 69 bits. Always appreciated. And thank you very much. And I do want to say, pointing out the standings really quick, Party Time and Beast Coast and Team Happy Cloud all tied up right now. Obviously, it's only week 1, so it's not like we have any kind of hard-hitting analysis here. But something to mention, the teams in the 4-5 slot picking up 2 games off of other teams, obviously, I think that's pretty big. Parsley, Snag, Rosemary, and Line kind of saying to everyone, we can hang in this division just fine. I think some people had some questions about that. So this looks pretty good. Yeah, very nice. All right, let's move on to A West. Let's look at the standings first here. So it looks like we have Regen Anomaly right at the top. Again, this is week 1, so it's not like we have too much to go off of here. But that's surprising to me, and I suspect to you and some of the people watching here, because that's a C team formally. Obviously, roster changes are significant. Right. But still, to kind of show people that they're doing all right with a domination win, that's pretty solid. and here's some commentary from Key. He says, I wasn't, or Key in the placement team wasn't quite sure that this team would be able to hang in the A region. I think, you could probably attest to that a little bit more than me, but they definitely showed dominance over a solid Division A team with Wholesome Halfwits. I mean, they've also been a team. Were they in Heroic a couple seasons ago, I believe?
You're thinking of Dread Pirates, but
Okay.
and they're back in Heroic this season. So, but Wholesome Halfwits, again, like I said, another team that's been pretty much a perennial Div A, middle of the pack or upper team. So
right, and that's who Regen Anomaly finds their win against. So definitely, like I said, proving to people that they're in a good spot for them. So it'll be interesting to see in the rematch because this is of course one of our double round robin match season. So very nice. Let's move on to Division B. Why don't you talk about the B East standings once they show up on stream there for you?
Yep. First, I'm going to talk about Tiny Dancers. I think this was one of the teams that I had my eye on in the preseason episode, but this team is, I think, a pretty much brand new team. Oh no, I'm thinking of a different. So they do have some returning players, I believe, but they look to me like possibly one of the best teams in the division. And so they beat Roomba Rotation, and who is also considered probably one of the upper teams in the division. So
yeah,
they're
I'd say
looking
that's
really strong. So yeah, a couple things I wanted to mention. Also, there's like a couple games that aren't submitted yet, so calling you all out, go submit your games.
Yeah, we were just talking about that before.
In every division, not just in here, but yeah. So some
before
of
the
these
show, we
standings
were
might
talking
not
about
be
that.
exactly quite accurate, but
very nice. Anything else on B East?
not too much to say. I think Div B and Div C are going to be really like contested the whole way through. Like I don't think playoffs will be figured out until probably the last like week or two. So I expect a lot of movement like the whole way through, and any team to beat any other team and to have no idea what the actual strengths of any teams are as we go along. So
yeah.
I'm along for the ride.
And that's great. That's exactly what we want. We want strong competition across all divisions, and I would even argue to add D into that. I'm partially biased because I'm in D, but all of those teams, any one of them could be in the top 8, and it would be a reasonable argument to make that they could be in that position. Obviously, there's some that would be in the better half of those, but yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's move on to B West. I'm going to take care of this one for us. So coming in with the standings here. Looks like we have Arrogant Nephilim at the top. Looks like they have a flex match played. So they have 5 points, Soak Every Lane right behind them. And then everyone else kind of fallen in line here. I don't think there's anything too crazy going on here, at least from a standings perspective. One thing that I wanted to point out was Caffeinated Nights. So I don't know if you watched this game. So apparently they had a Macro Morales going on. You're on mute, buddy. Oh, you know that. Oh, sorry. So they had something going on with Morales on Cursed Hollow. They lost, but then they came back and beat Phoenix Rising Onyx 2-1 in a reverse sweep. So they seem to like ultra aggressive play, which is great. You're going to get those wins every once in a while, but you do risk, if things fall apart, you do risk falling apart. So I think that it's going to be a fun team to watch. They're sitting at 4 right now with the 2-1 win, so that's going to be a really good team to watch. So, all right, moving on to C East. This is a division. It is certainly a division. So we have World Hunger Avoidance team at the top. That's Michael Ian. Doing some good work. Bancho, the Division D East Season 8 Grand Champions, is really just stomping things around in C, showing that maybe they should have been in B. They're a very good team, and they're keeping it up. But importantly, one team that we wanted to highlight was Zirconium League. So they've played 2 matches now. I think both went to a 3-game series, a full 3-game series. And one thing that's unique about them is every single match or every single game in that match, their roster has changed almost completely. I didn't look at it close enough to see if it's completely different, but I mean, they were changing rosters. One of my former teammates is on that team, and she only played a handful of the games, but I reached out to her to ask her for some kind of insight on that and seeing what's going on. And they said that the captain really just wanted to make sure that they had at least a couple people in each role that could play each role and be competent in it. And it'll be interesting to see if that actually pays off as the season goes on. So there we go. Why don't you talk about C West, Ryokai?
Sure. Well, just to finish up and piggyback off what you were saying is Gilly Shark ourselves, we have 9 players, so I can speak to sometimes there's trickiness in just having even like consistency in like people communication, switching up the rosters, but if you can manage it and keep the communication and things all well structured and disciplined and things like that, it could give you an advantage in having people able to play multiple roles or switch in and out and have different hero pools and stuff like that. So definitely an interesting wrinkle to mess around with as the season goes on.
Right. And I think it'll be interesting to watch kind of the tale of two teams going on, seeing how Zirconium League, a Division C team, not that that should be discredited anyway, but, a different skill set than Gilly Shark, who have you, what is it? Is it Romney or what's you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have him, just different caliber of players in Division A. So it'll be interesting to see how that pays off. So.
And then, so C West, not a whole lot of difference from, I think, the preseason rankings. Team to highlight here is probably Amateur Opponents. They played some pretty good games in the first week. They have 5 points already, so obviously doing pretty well. In the 2 matches played so far, they went 2-0 against Cosmos. And Respect the Goose, they went 2-1. My team that I'm kind of keeping an eye on here is Randy Newman. They were like a brand new team to Division S. And so the placement committee, I guess especially, is kind of like keeping an eye on this team as they looked really strong in their first series or first 2 series.
Wait, and Randy Newman, they're a returning Div D team.
Did I say Randy Newman? I meant Resurgence of the Storm, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
As soon as you said it, I was like, I know who you mean to talk about.
Okay, yeah. Their team starts with R, they're right next to each other, my bad. Yeah. No worries. Sorry, Randy Newman, yes, also Div D team moving up. They're doing pretty well, so definitely a couple teams to keep an eye on in there. And yeah, that's all I got.
Very nice. All right, now we're moving on to my favorite division, Division D East. With the standings, Zul'jin Distillery at the top. I don't think that's really surprising anyone that's playing in this division. They're a really strong team. I think they're the exact same as they were last season. Potentially one additional ad from the former Regen Anomaly ad. I think he's only played Mephisto. So that's been kind of cool to see. But anyways, Full Metal Jacket dropping down from C, doing great. Church of Murky picking up 1 domination. Actually, all 3 of these teams have picked up 1 domination. And kind of going off of what I was saying earlier, this division is incredibly close. And maybe it doesn't look like that to outsiders like you, Rio, or anyone else watching here, but we have Zul'jin Distillery, Full Metal Jacket, Church of Murky, Nexus Cats, I Must Feed, Calculated Throw, Franksfurters, Illa Dancing Queen. I mean, all of these teams, that's 8 teams. I've named your playoff teams. Those are, and they're all really, really good. And it could be anywhere. I think Zul'jin Distillery will be in the top half. I think Church of Murky will be in the top half. I'd like for Nexus Cats to be in the top half, but I'm confident that all of those teams will be making playoffs, and it's going to be a really fun division to watch. So if you're thinking about watching a division, that's one I would recommend. But why don't you move on to Division D West so my bias doesn't show anymore?
Well, I was just going to say, I think over half of those teams have played up in C in the past and things like that. So that is definitely a tight, stacked division for sure. Just the way the placements worked out this season is D is the new C, it feels like almost basically. So definitely a lot of just chaos could happen.
Oh yeah, and the only reason I haven't said anything about those other teams is because they're new and I don't know them. So who knows?
Yeah, throws even more mess into the.
Yeah, I mean, Probius Drift Cannon Rush. They had 2 people return from the old Probius, and they really, I mean, they took a game off us and they played really well in that game, in all 3 games actually. So definitely a really tight division. I'm excited for the season, but let's talk about Div D West.
Yes. So, I think currently top two like main front runners in this division are going to be Team Rainbow Strike Go and Artemis, both off to a good start, getting a win in week 1, and I think they are currently the 2 teams to beat for the rest of the division. Sidestorm sneaking up in there also with 2 points in the first week, but as always in these double round robin divisions, those are be especially interesting as the season goes on, because it's not like you're going to end up in week 9 and it's going to be, it's the number 1 team versus the number 9 team or whatever, number 13
Right.
team, and you're like, well, is this really worth watching? Playoffs are already set. This is like teams are going to be rematching. They're going to have strats they know from the first series. They're going to be coming back with a vengeance if they lost week 1. Like, those are going to be some good storylines to keep an eye on. So I'm definitely going to be keeping a keen eye on the double round robin divisions.
Absolutely. Do you want to do the honors of talking about Division E, or
that is your
my bread and butter?
Of course, yes.
Of course. So I will break it down here. This is our last double round robin division. Very interesting stuff happening over here. Now, a lot of people don't have access to their div chat, and they're very quiet. So to the extent that they're here, I just want you guys to get into that div E chat, talk it up, have a good time. It's going to be fun. But one team I did want to talk about, and they're the team in first place right now, is Cerebral Gaming. They're doing some spicy Div E things that you would expect. Looks like they played Diva, Nova, and Shrike build Anna in a match. I don't know if it was in the same. Was it the same game?
Yeah.
So yeah, just complete and utter chaos, and they're still at the top of the division. So definitely a team to watch in that division. I know one more fight they played in Division D last season. So it's great to see them not only return, but to be doing well at the second place position. But again, this is a double round robin. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if the rest of these teams are going to catch up to Cerebral Gaming? It's going to be a lot of fun here. So any overall thoughts going on about week 1 so far?
Well, again, Cerebral Gaming, you mentioned, I think, brand new team to NGS pretty much, so we didn't know where to place them. Div E is, it's like you kind of don't want to place people there, but you also sometimes you're like, well, I don't even know if they can hang in Div D. Div D is stacked, as we already mentioned already, so sometimes you're just like, you just got to shrug and, figure it out. And
absolutely,
if they can win Div E, I'm going to say doing what they love, however strategically sound it might be, I respect that fully, and I'm on board. So, yeah, if you definitely, at least there'll be fun games to watch.
Absolutely.
So, that's always a benefit.
One more final thought about week 1 before we get into the game of the week discussion coming up here. Shout out to NGS casters. 100% matches cast in week 1. That's incredible. So if you are a caster and you're in chat, or if you're watching this after the fact, just give yourself a little clap. It was a good job. Thank you very much for helping NGS be the premium North American NGS amateur series, if you will. You guys made it interesting, and the teams love it. So thank you very much. Let's get into the game of the week. The premiere, the tippy top of the games this week. Ryokai, who do we have playing?
All right, our game of the week pick, Div A East, is going to be Team Happy Cloud versus Beast Coast. That's Wednesday at 9 Eastern time. That should be 6 Pacific.
I think that's correct. And just before anyone says there's a Division A East bias here, because we have Rio.
I didn't put that.
And we have our producer, Linehouses in Division A East. This was Key's choice. We heavily rely on him for these kind of deep dive analyses. And I have to agree that this is what's coming up. So as you said, 9 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be right here on the NGS Twitch channel. I believe we're going to have Murda, and if Slexia is still in the chat, I think she's pegged for the co-caster position. So definitely pretty good casting position. I think this game is going to be great. Who do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Team Happy Cloud or Beast Coast?
Yeah, I'll talk about Team Happy Cloud because I'm a little bit more familiar with them. So we played against them in Season 7. And yeah, as we already mentioned, I think it's the 3rd season Division A straight. They've been steadily improving. They were like 8th in Season 7. They've moved up to 5th in Season 8. And so they're on an upward trajectory. So they're definitely a team to beat if you want to make your stand saying, we're a top team in Division A. or in Division A, you gotta kind of show that by beating the teams that have been there before and been in the upper half. So definitely a playoff contender. They've got Galaxy Quest and Brett Michaels, who are some of the highest like hero damage as far as stats go in Division A so far. Or that was
I
in
think from
season 8
season
stats,
8.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Beast Coast, they were Div B. I don't remember if it was last season or the season before, but they're a team moving up,
2
and
seasons
they're
ago.
also trying to make their stand. So, yeah, go ahead and talk about them. So,
Absolutely. So this team, Beast Coast, they're anchored by Munkus and Megamuffin. If you've been a fan of the show and you've tuned in, you'll know the Munka's name. He comes on here often talking about newer heroes, dissecting how they play, how we should think about playing them. Really good friend of the show. So thank you very much to him. But he is really anchoring this team with that hard-hitting analysis. They added a great support player in the offseason in Bernie Burn, who's formerly on Phoenix Rising Diamond, I believe, which was also a Div A team. That was last season. And in season 8, they recorded 45 kills. Sorry. Okay, so Beast Coast, they have had a domination win over Regen Phoenix. And in that domination, they recorded 45 total kills, which is insane. And you could see the at least Bernie Burn stats on the right in front of you right now, having a KDA of 43. Of course, there's only one game or one or two games being contemplated here, but that's incredible. And Bernie Burn specifically, coming from PR Diamond, had a 96.7% kill participation, which was the highest among all Div A healers last season. And this was most likely bolstered by the fact that they were getting 1.3 kills per game in season 8, which was also the highest in Div A. So if Bernie Burn can take what they were doing in season 8 last season, couple that with Munkas and Megamuffin, I think you're going to have a recipe for success. And that's why this week's game of the week is going to be incredible to watch. I really look forward to it. There we go. Any other comments?
well, yeah, just Bernie Burn. I'm familiar with him. I played against him, I think, on my dorm team when I was first starting out playing competitively. He was on Nobo in the past, who was in Heroic. He's been on, I think, Queen's Consorts possibly when they were in Div A and did pretty well. I possibly won. I don't remember exactly. So yeah, he's definitely a very good support player that you should keep your eye out on as far as how to play support. He's very aggressive too, which is, like you said, kind of unusual for a support player, but he makes it work, and it clearly works pretty well. So
yeah, I guess he's got Deckard Cain and Abathur played, so that's probably helping his KDA and stuff like that. But all right, guys, we haven't done it in a while, but I'm excited, and it's my pleasure to announce we got some highlights for you guys. Because we had 100% caster participation, we are chock full of excellent highlights. I think we've only picked 5, but if you go into the highlights channel and you take a look, or the play of the game channel on the NGS website, and you look through all those, there are some incredible highlights. So let's just get right into it. I think we've just kind of watched these a little bit, so I haven't really watched them. But let's get into it. Number 5, Luigi and Knuckles at the Olympic Games versus Artemis, Division E, I believe. No, D West. This is called Leo and Tomb Party. Show the clip.
It's going to be a 5-on-5, and here comes the fight. A big, huge Entomb and a mosh.
And a slide and a mosh.
Oh, what a play. Down goes Cat. It's going to be a 5-on-5.
Yeah, that was definitely a party
Yep.
for one of those teams. That's the old hit R strategy.
yep, it works pretty well when you hit the entire enemy team. So
yeah, absolutely. So looking at number 4, Primates versus Team Mana Frenzy. This is called a slip slide into victory. Slip slide the clip onto our screen.
Top side, we will see the sound barrier coming out, trying to keep him up, but it's not going to be enough. Chen is going to fall, but look at the 4-man slide coming in from Frozen, and that is going to be a disaster for Team Mana Frenzy in that moment. Youch! On the top side,
always got to be careful of the Liming on Battlefield for sure.
Yeah, that would do it. I thought we were going to see some ETC slip sliding around, but nope, that was just
He got the initial slide and boop back.
Yeah, there you go.
On the to set it all up. So
Very nice. And number 3, this is probably my favorite clip. This is Nexus Cats versus Probius Drift Cannon Rush. It's called All Aboard the Sonya Express. Choo choo.
So there's no reason to think that they shouldn't try for it. Even talent tiers, both before 16.
All right, here we
They're
go.
looking for
Looks
it.
like we're
Here's
going
the
for a
throw.
fight.
Oh, Sonya
He
leap
threw
in. Huge
Sonya.
taunt.
Oh, Sonya leap. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god, the combo.
Wow. Oh, there it is. Oh. Oh no, doesn't get away.
Sonya
Kael'thas
leap
lives.
perfect.
again, just pressing R, pretty effective.
Yeah, it's a really good
Well done,
strategy, guys. Yeah, of course, I was the initiator on that one. Sonya Leap. My team, I don't usually play with Leap, but my team's like, hey, Turd, go Leap. I was like, all right, boys, we got this.
Yep.
And yeah, shout out to them for having my back with the overextended Leap into the other team. And of course, following up with roots and stuns and kills and murders and everything.
That's the new Tassadar Black Hole.
Yeah, our Tassadar player enjoys that a lot. Yeah.
With setup like that, I can't imagine why.
Yeah, right. All right, coming in at number 2, it is -10 armor versus Team Training Wheels. This is another Sonya clip with Sonya saves the day.
37. They are on the same tier of objective. They both require 65 gems. Team Training Wheels looking in a much better position to make that happen, though. Bruiser
Love
can't
the build-up
call
of
for
suspense on
-10
this.
armor. They get caught, however, right before being able to cap it. Let's see if somebody gets on the point. No,
Oop.
Mosh Pit goes out to stop the bleeding so that nobody can follow up the Sonya on the engage. Stay a while and listen goes out. Everyone's silenced. ETC goes down. Thrall goes down. No one able to cast. Lucio not able to protect himself for ETC.
Wow.
And they get the cherry on top.
There you go. So that one was a little interesting. You almost had two. I didn't know which part of the fight to watch. Was it the
Yep.
Sonya doing stuff, or was it the ETC not dying for a little bit? But yeah, spin to win, as Arthur now says. So definitely getting value there. And coming in at number 1 this week, Church of Murky versus Illa Dancing Queens. Deathwing flames the competition.
Yet to be picked up by Illa Dancing Queens. They gotta be looking for it at some point.
And I think right now they're just trying to play damage control as much as they possibly can. Never mind, we're gonna get everything here.
Let's see what's gonna happen. already.
Massive value from the Deathwing, getting everybody in that Warden's Cage, plus the choke point. A full 5-man team.
I don't think that was supposed to happen.
No, you're not supposed to stand in the fire. That's a classic rookie mistake.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, so I played a Deathwing game this week, and actually my coach says you're not supposed to use Q that much, but apparently it works. So I'm just gonna send him this video and say, "Are you sure, coach?" Because that seemed to do okay. Yeah, Stark making the "It's lit, fam."
Yep.
Nice. Very, very good. All right. One more segment. This is my favorite new segment. Bronze or GM? So let's start it out. So number 1, we have 2 choices. What is it? We have best team name. So why don't you go first, Rio?
All right. First, I'm going to give an honorable mention to Kael'thas Can't spelled with a C, because it's got the CCS acronym. It's just perfect. It's beautiful. It's so simple and yet so hilarious, and I giggle every time I read it.
It's
Honorable
great.
mention. Yes. Very good.
100% Great.
And kind of like special also shout out to like every other team with the CCS. There's like Cool Cats and something else Kittens,
chasing,
but that's okay.
Something chasing Samaru. Constantly chasing.
Currently chasing Samurai, something like that. So there's a theme going on. We of course the original can't counterpick stupid. Wow, I can talk. So yeah, definitely good there. But my actual winner for best team name, Quarantine. Again, so simple, so perfect. It just can't be improved. But I gotta call you out because you don't have a logo. So unfortunate.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it looks like you've fallen victim to our executive producer going mad with power and placing his own logo in place of yours. So, which I have comments about in the next one, so don't worry. But my favorite team name, and the only reason I think it's my favorite team name is I was reading it and there was an issue with their team length of their name, as you can imagine. And I had to contact them. And when I was reading through the names, I just started laughing out loud. I couldn't stop. Luigi and Knuckles at the Olympic Games. And then combined with that logo,
The logo is, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's incredible. And they got it under 26 characters or whatever. There's games is misspelled, but it's incredible. That's an excellent big brain name. And of course it's coming from D West. So great. So, and as I alluded to, let's move on to best team logo. I'll go first this time. Honorable mention, as I kind of alluded to, Parsley, Snag, Rosemary, and Lime. They with the Simon and Garfunkel album cover. It's really good. Also, Randy Newman for their new logo this season. It's a picture of Randy Savage with Randy Newman's head underneath the Randy Savage sunglasses. Absolutely incredible. But I couldn't go away from Banjo-Kazooie. I got a little sneak peek of this last season, helping Valk with some of the interviews and interviewing the captain of Banjo. They showed me this logo and I was like, wow, this is just great. You got the Banjo-Kazooie heads on Cho and Gall. It's just great. So there you are.
My pick, again, some of my old past teammates here, washed up, and it's just the Diamond 5 with the Decay to Diamond 5 picture. Again, simple and yet so good. So, love it.
Yeah, that one is pretty good too. All these are good. If you're in chat and if there's one we missed, you think we missed, let us know. We'll check it out, of course. But the next bronze or GM segment, which Lime mouse is the best mouse? It looks like we have Cool Cheese with the thinking with the sunglasses, and then we also have Mouseatine. I'm gonna go with Mouseatine because it's just incredible. There's a new spin on it. If you've been around in the Discord, in the Div B or A Discord, there was Saint Mouseatine, which is of course Linehouse's alter ego, but for good. But yeah, this Mouseatine it's just great. It says everything it needs to say.
I think Mousatine's like the better chat, whatever moniker for it. But Cool Cheese, I think, is the better emote for me. So gonna have to give the win to Cool Cheese.
It is a good emote too. But yeah, and Linehouse did say in chat this was a request by Weenus. So of course we were obliging. And if you have any bronze or GM segments, go ahead and drop them into the Edge Questions Discord. Speaking of which, this next one comes from the Edge Questions Discord. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Does Mrs. Turd, or Mrs. Herder as she likes to be called, approve of the beard or not? So what do you think, Rio? I know the answer, obviously, so I'm not going to participate in this one.
I think the beard is a yes. Thumbs up for the beard.
All right, that's a good guess. Good guess. And the answer is, yeah, she's a fan. She likes it. I don't look like a middle schooler, so that's a big up. And yeah, she actually bought me beard oil. I've never had that before. It smells really good. And yeah, I've been using that. I think she really likes it. And she was like, "Oh yeah, you have to use that and all this stuff. It's fine. It's fine." So
now the question is, are you more attached to the beard or is she?
I
do you
think
have
she
to get
is.
approval to shave it now?
I was talking about shaving it last week, and then it was actually before the beard oil came in, and she's like, "No, I bought the beard oil. You're gonna have it." I was like, "Oh, okay, sorry."
Yep.
Sorry.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. But yeah, she appreciates it. I think it's I don't usually, with my work, I usually don't get an opportunity to not shave for weeks on end. So this has been a good opportunity. But Ryokai, it's that time of the show. That's it. That's all we've got. We've reached our 30-minute mark, keeping it real close. Why don't you give any closing comments here?
Well, again, I'm looking forward to playing more games. NGS season starting off good. Hopefully we keep going. Lots of casts. Thumbs up to the casters. Report your games. Get more logos. I think that's all I got.
That is a good recap. If you missed every other minute of this show, You got it. I'm not even going to touch it. I think that's a great recap. So I'd like to thank my co-host, of course, Rio Kai. And of course, the behind the scenes guy, Linehouse, the executive producer, Key, the head analyst, who provided us with a lot of the insights into the specific matches, specific teams, specific players. And of course, this is Turd here saying adios, amigos. Remember to stay safe in the Nexus. Take your hots to the edge.
Wait, what? Nice job, Vala. Activating that as soon as I used my interrupt for it.